You're listening to the Uncle Henry Show, News Radio 710. This hour we have KCarl Smith in. He's a Frederick Douglass Republican. He's online, conservativemessenger.com. He's called the Conservative Messenger. KCarl Smith. Okay, now you're here. This is the radio station that has lots of conservative radio shows. The people that listen to this radio station, generally speaking, enjoy conservative speakers. They vote conservative. When I have black callers call in with conservative opinions, other black callers will call in and they're very suspicious of that. They feel like somebody's either misled or selling out somehow. Sure. So what kind of reaction do you get?
Well, then that's understandable because it gets back to the word conservative. Because when you say conservative, I'm going back to the 1950s and 60s. I'm thinking about the guys who put the dogs in the water hose on the people, the nonviolent protesters in Birmingham. Those were Democrat conservatives. But you have to understand, so if you call yourself a black conservative, a Christian conservative, or a Reagan conservative, you might as well take that word conservative out of the way and say, I'm a black racist, I'm a Christian racist, I'm a Reagan racist, because that word conservative has a negative connotation. So when I go into black communities, I don't... Uncle Henry, I do not describe myself as a black conservative. I'm a Freddie Douglass Republican. And so that's an oxymoron for many people. But they give me a chance to explain why I call myself a Frederick Douglass Republican. But I make sure if I'm going to use the word conservative, I define the meaning first, that I'm not a Democrat conservative. I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican conservative.
Okay, we're going to go to the phones. You're listening to KCarl Smith, the Conservative Messenger, and Freddie. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Uncle Henry, and I appreciate you letting me have this opportunity. Mr. Smith, I like to say as an elderly gentleman, you would do Frederick Douglass would turn over in his grave. I got a shirt with his picture, a huge picture on it, and I wear it. And I'm going to have a bad feeling wearing it, hearing you speak. Do you realize that Miss Romney homeschooled her boys to keep them from going to school with you? If you don't think so, go up there and try to run with them. I can imagine your philosophy is behind Rush Limbaugh. These are the people you better come out of the cloud. I know you're gonna make money doing what you're doing, but come out of the cloud.
All right, now this is an example of what I was talking about before.
Here's the point: he has to understand racism, sir, doesn't have a political face. You have racism in the Democrat Party, you have racism in the Republican Party. Racism is not going to go away. The question is how you're going to interact and impact. We're talking about how people are. I can't really worry about that. Only thing I can do, I can help elevate them. So, some of the biggest racists I've seen in my life is how blacks treat each other. When I went to Alabama A&M, which is a historical black college, one of the sororities had something called the brown paper bag test, meaning that if your skin tone was dark in a brown paper bag, you weren't allowed into that sorority. So the whole thing about racism, sir, it is here. The question is, what are you doing to make a difference? How are you interacting and impacting the change which you just described?
You think you make a difference when you come on and tell me and downgrade people like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton? They doing what they want to do. You are doing what you want to do. Why would you criticize them?
I criticize them, sir, because I disagree with them. And criticism, sir.
Can I criticize you?
Sure, you can do what you want. But, sir, critique is a form of love, sir. When you study Frederick Douglass critiqued Lincoln. That was a form of love to elevate him, because Lincoln, now, when he took office, Lincoln supported slavery in the South. If you read the third paragraph of his inaugural address, his first inaugural address, but Douglass did not give up on him. He helped Lincoln improve as a statesman, as a leader. So the question is, sir, the proper focus is not if someone or an organization is racist. The question is, what can we do to interact and impact and make a difference? I'm trying to make a difference. I'm asking them, other than complaining about it, let's make a difference. Because if not, we're going to leave a feud for our children to fight. And that's not what I want for my child and my grandchildren.
Well, the difference you can make is get out and try to tell young people about the facts of life, that they need to try to get an education. Don't get out. These other men, they're going to go on before you. They did what they had to do to bring us where we are. You're not going to. You are trying to take us back.
So. How, sir? How are you taking them back? How can we take how can we go back and talk about Douglas? And Douglas shows us how to go ahead.
What you going to do to help our president? You're going to do everything you can to get him.
I will support President Obama when I think he's right, but I will never surrender my Christian principles and support him when I think he's wrong. I think he's wrong on the idea of supporting gay marriage. I'm not going to spit in my God's face based on how I vote. I'm not going to do that anymore. So there's nothing you can do to convince me to spit in my God's face. My loyalty is to my Jehovah God. It's not to President Obama. He is a man. So what I will never do, I will never place any man above the God that I serve. I will critique him and I hold him accountable based on my values. So I don't put color before character. I don't put a political party before my biblical principles. And I will never put a president before the Prince of Peace.
All right, Freddie, I'm going to have to move on. Is there a last comment? All right, no, he hung up. So you answered him completely and totally. KCarl Smith is here. Online, his web address, conservativemessenger.com.
It's all about voting your values. That's what this is all about. And again, I keep saying, don't put color before character, and don't put any president before the Prince of Peace, if that's your value structure. That's what I was doing, because Obama's the wrong one, not because of his color. He's the wrong one because of his values, and now we know for the past 3 years because of his legislation. What he did to the historical black colleges, I can't sit back and say I'm going to support him. He cut the historical black colleges by $72 million. And I'm supposed to sit back and act like it didn't happen? What he did to the D.C. Opportunity Scholarship Program, when he had those inner city kids, black kids in Washington, D.C., and Bush started this program to allow them to attend some of the better schools, the private schools. Obama came in and cut it. I'm supposed to sit back and like it's not happening, support him because he's black? I don't care if it's a white man that did it or a black man. He did it. He's wrong.
All right, you're listening to KCarl Smith here on News Radio 710. The day